Bernie Mac showcast, then and now, 2001, 2025, where are they today? 20 years ago, the Bernie Mac show shook American television with raw honesty, fearless comedy, and a cast whose real lives were far more dramatic than anything written in the script. Behind the laughter were battles with illness, fame, heartbreak, reinvention, and unbelievable triumph. Some rose higher than anyone expected, some disappeared from Hollywood, and some left us far too soon. Today, their stories hit harder than ever. Before we begin this emotional journey, hit subscribe and join Legends of Black Excellence, where we honor the icons who changed culture and uncover the truths most people never hear. Bernie Mac. The Bernie Mac show burst onto American television in 2001 with a force and honesty that felt brand new. At its center stood Bernie Mac, born Bernard Jeffrey McCulloch on October 5, 1957, whose booming voice, sharp timing, and unmistakable swagger made him unlike any other sitcom father on TV. He wasn't polished. He wasn't scripted perfection. He was real. Drawing on a childhood marked by loss and hardship on Chicago's South Side, Bernie played a fictionalized version of himself tasked with raising his sister's children. Audiences instantly connected with the way he spoke directly to America, confessing his frustrations, hopes, and fears with a mix of comedy and raw truth. Behind the scenes, he poured every ounce of himself into the show while juggling film roles like Ocean's 11, proving he was not just a comedian, but a powerhouse entertainer shaping a new era of television. Yet even as viewers laughed, Bernie Mac quietly fought battles they never saw. He lived for years with sarcoidosis, a chronic inflammatory disease that targeted his lungs. Though he managed the illness with determination, the long hours of filming, travel, and stand-up work demanded more of his body than the public ever knew. Still, Bernie refused to complain. Colleagues later recalled how he pushed through pain with resilience, insisting on giving audiences the performances they deserved. His dedication helped the Bernie Mac show earn a Peabody Award, multiple Emmy nominations, and a lasting cultural legacy. But the strain was real. In the summer of 2008, complications from pneumonia placed him in the hospital. On August 9, 2008, at just 50 years old, America lost one of its most distinctive comedic voices, an artist who had spent his life transforming struggle into laughter. More than a decade after his passing, Bernie Mac's influence continues to echo far beyond the years he lived. Reruns of his groundbreaking show still introduce him to new generations, who recognize the rare blend of toughness and tenderness that made him unforgettable. His stand-up specials remain staples of American comedy, and his film roles continue to shine with the same magnetic energy fans felt when they first aired. More than a sitcom star, Bernie Mac became a symbol of perseverance, fatherhood, and unfiltered truth. And although he is no longer here to address America directly, his legacy speaks louder than ever, reminding viewers why The Bernie Mac Show remains a timeless part of television history. Kellita Smith. When The Bernie Mac Show premiered in 2001, Kellita Smith stepped into the role of Wanda McCulloch, the confident, sharp-witted, and unwaveringly loyal wife who grounded the chaos of Bernie's world. Born January 15, 1969 in Chicago, she brought to the screen a magnetic blend of strength, elegance, and comedic timing that made Wanda one of the most beloved sitcom wives of the early 2000s. Her presence balanced Bernie's explosive humor with calm authority, and audiences, especially women, connected deeply with the way she portrayed a modern partner navigating motherhood, career, and family expectations. Before joining the show, Kellita had already built a solid resume on stage and television, but The Bernie Mac Show transformed her from a working actress into a recognizable face in American households. After the series ended in 2006, Kellita faced the familiar challenges many sitcom stars encounter: typecasting, fewer opportunities, and the pressure to maintain momentum in a competitive industry. She refused to fade quietly. Instead, she pushed into new territory with determination. Her notable comeback arrived through the horror comedy series Z Nation, where she played Lieutenant Roberta Warren from 2014 to 2018, a commanding, complex role that showed the world she could carry a dramatic narrative as powerfully as she handled comedy. She continued working consistently in television, film, and independent projects, finding creative freedom outside the constraints of traditional Hollywood casting. While juggling the ups and downs of the industry, she also navigated personal hurdles. Unmarried and without children, Kellita has spoken openly about periods of loneliness and self-reflection, yet she turned those struggles into growth, resilience, and renewed purpose. In more recent years, Kellita has embraced a life that balances artistry with independence. She built her own small fashion brand, made steady appearances at charity events, and used her platform to support mental health awareness, an issue she believes deserves greater visibility in the entertainment community. Though she no longer seeks the high-pressure spotlight of major studio productions, her work remains steady, meaningful, and aligned with her values. Her net worth is often estimated at around $3 million, a reflection of decades of dedication rather than overnight stardom. And as fans revisit The Bernie Mac Show today, Kellita Smith stands as a testament to quiet perseverance. A woman who carved her place in Hollywood not through hype, but through talent, dignity, and unwavering strength. Camille Winbush. When The Bernie Mac Show first aired in 2001, Camille Winbush stepped into the role of Vanessa Nessa Tompkins, the sharp-tongued, skeptical, and fiercely independent teenager who constantly pushed Uncle Bernie's patience to its limits. Born February 9, 1990 in Culver City, California, Camille was only 11 when she brought Vanessa to life, but her performance displayed maturity far beyond her years. She didn't just play a rebellious teen, she embodied the emotional layers of a young girl forced to navigate loss, change, and a new family structure. Throughout the show's 5-season run, Camille earned multiple Young Artist Awards and quickly became one of the most memorable child stars of early 2000s television. For many viewers, especially those raising teenagers at the time, her character felt strikingly real, equal parts frustrating and lovable. But as the series wrapped in 2006, Camille faced one of the most difficult transitions in Hollywood, the shift from child actor to adult performer. She continued to work steadily, securing roles on The Secret Life of the American Teenager from 2008 to 2013, where she once again displayed her knack for emotional storytelling. Still, she never returned to the same mainstream visibility she enjoyed during the Bernie Mac years, a challenge many young actors encounter once the spotlight moves on. While trying to find her footing, Camille explored new creative paths, stepping into entrepreneurship. She owned and operated an ice cream shop in Pasadena called Baked Ice, a unique venture that showcased her interest in business and community connection. The shop eventually closed, a setback she acknowledged with honesty and grace, but it also marked another chapter in her ongoing search for independence beyond Hollywood. In recent years, Camille has chosen a quieter, more selective approach to her career. She continues to act in independent projects and voiceover work while maintaining a strong presence on social media, where she shares glimpses of her personal and professional growth. Unlike many former child stars, she has avoided scandal, choosing stability, privacy, and authenticity over constant publicity. Her net worth is commonly estimated at around $4.5 million, a combination of her years in television, entrepreneurial projects, and continued creative work. As viewers rediscover The Bernie Mac Show today, Camille Winbush stands as a reminder that growing up in the spotlight is never simple, but with resilience and self-awareness, it can lead to a grounded, meaningful adult life. Jeremy Suarez. Jeremy Suarez became a familiar face to audiences as Jordan Tompkins, the sensitive, bug-obsessed middle child who often wore his heart on his sleeve and tried to make sense of the chaos around Uncle Bernie. Born July 6, 1990 in Burbank, California, he entered acting at a young age with early credits in projects like Jerry Maguire and the medical drama Chicago Hope. As Jordan, he brought a quiet charm and natural timing that made the character instantly relatable, especially to viewers who saw themselves in a shy kid trying to grow up in a new, sometimes overwhelming family environment. His expressive eyes, soft-spoken delivery, and believable reactions turned him into one of the emotional anchors of The Bernie Mac Show, and his work helped the series balance sharp comedy with genuine heart. While still working on the sitcom, Jeremy expanded his career into animation and voice acting. In 2003, he voiced Coda, the energetic young bear in Disney's Brother Bear, a role that introduced him to an even wider audience and showcased his ability to carry warmth and humor through voice alone. He returned as Coda in Brother Bear 2, 2006, further cementing his place in early 2000s family entertainment. Along the way, he made appearances in popular series such as The Proud Family and King of the Hill, proving that he could move comfortably between live-action comedy and animation. As he moved from childhood into adulthood, his on-screen appearances naturally became less frequent, a transition many young actors experience once a defining series ends and the industry shifts its focus to the next generation. In the years since, Jeremy Suarez has maintained a lower public profile while still being remembered fondly by fans of both The Bernie Mac Show and Brother Bear. He has continued to work intermittently in entertainment, particularly in voice roles and occasional screen projects without courting constant media attention or controversy. For many viewers revisiting the show between 2001 and 2025, his portrayal of Jordan remains a standout, a gentle, funny, and believable portrait of a boy growing up under unusual circumstances. His career story underscores a quieter kind of success in Hollywood, one rooted not in headlines, but in lasting affection from audiences who still smile when they see Jordan on screen. Dee Dee Davis. Dee Dee Davis entered American households as Brianna Baby Girl Tompkins, the wide-eyed, sweet-natured youngest member of the family whose innocence softened even Bernie's toughest moments. Born April 17, 1996 in Culver City, California, she was only 5 years old when she brought Baby Girl to life, yet her comedic instincts and natural charm made her one of the breakout stars of The Bernie Mac Show. Dee Dee won a Young Artist Award for her performance, and audiences adored the way she balanced adorable mischief with heartfelt sincerity. For many viewers, Baby Girl became a symbol of childhood joy and the emotional center of the sitcom's family dynamic. Her bond with Bernie Mac on screen felt genuine, creating moments that stayed with fans long after the series ended. When the show concluded in 2006, Dee Dee Davis was still very young, and unlike many child actors who pushed deeper into Hollywood, she stepped away from the screen to focus on school and a more private life. This decision gave her the structure and normalcy that many young performers often miss. But it also meant that her once high visibility faded naturally as new waves of child stars emerged. She made a few brief returns to acting, including appearances on Strong Medicine and The Ellen DeGeneres Show, but ultimately chose a different path from her former castmates. Over the years, Dee Dee grew into adulthood outside the pressures of show business, keeping her personal life largely off camera and prioritizing family over fame. Her fans occasionally caught glimpses of her through public appearances or nostalgic interviews celebrating the legacy of the Bernie Mac cast. As an adult, Dee Dee Davis has embraced a life defined by authenticity and independence, rather than Hollywood's expectations. She became a mother, sharing selective moments of her family life with followers online while maintaining firm boundaries around her privacy. Though she no longer pursues major acting roles, her early work continues to resonate with audiences who re-watch The Bernie Mac Show and remember the laughter she brought into their homes. Her journey from beloved child star to grounded young woman reflects a rare, healthy transition, proof that stepping away from the spotlight can sometimes be the most powerful choice. For longtime fans, Dee Dee remains Baby Girl, a reminder of the show's warmth and the enduring imprint she left on early 2000s television. Reginald Ballard. Reginald Ballard brought warmth, humor, and a familiar sense of neighborhood loyalty to The Bernie Mac Show through his role as W.B. Bernie's easygoing friend who always seemed to show up with a joke, a lesson, or a reminder that true friendship can survive any kind of chaos. Born October 13, 1965 in Galveston, Texas, Ballard's path to television didn't begin in comedy clubs or acting classes. It began on a football field. A standout athlete, he earned a full scholarship to Southern Methodist University before transferring to the University of Missouri, where he continued to shine. But life had a different direction in store. After football injuries closed the door on professional sports, Ballard turned toward acting, carrying with him the discipline, resilience, and determination he had built as an athlete. Before joining the Bernie Mac Show, Ballard was already recognizable to many viewers thanks to his memorable role as Bruh Man on the hit sitcom Martin, a character whose deadpan delivery and iconic line, "Bruh Man" from The Fifth Flow, became a cultural touchstone of 1990s comedy. His appearance on Bernie Mac's series beginning in 2001 allowed him to showcase a different comedic rhythm, gentler, warmer, and grounded in the everyday realities of friendship. Whether he was teasing Bernie, offering questionable advice, or simply helping move the story along with a laugh, Ballard's presence brought an authenticity that reflected real communities and real relationships. His chemistry with Bernie Mac felt natural, shaped by shared comedic instincts and years of navigating Hollywood as black performers in an industry that often underestimated them. In the years after the show ended, Reginald Ballard returned to his first love, stand-up comedy, touring across the United States and reminding audiences that the same effortless charm they loved on television was even stronger on stage. He appeared in guest roles on various series, continued performing at comedy festivals, and embraced the life of a working entertainer with gratitude and determination. Through it all, he has kept close ties to the legacy of the Bernie Mac Show, often appearing at tribute events and speaking warmly about Bernie's influence. His career reflects the journey of a performer who has weathered challenges, reinvented himself, and stayed rooted in the craft that brings him joy. For fans revisiting the show between 2001 and 2025, Reginald Ballard stands as one of its steady, familiar pillars, a reminder that in comedy, heart matters just as much as humor. Nietzsche Nash. Nietzsche Nash brought an unmistakable spark to the Bernie Mac Show with her recurring role as Benita Bernie's loud, funny, and irresistibly lovable sister, who could turn any ordinary moment into pure comedy. Born Carol Denise Ensley on February 23, 1970 in Palmdale, California, Nash stepped into the entertainment world with an inner fire shaped by both joy and unthinkable tragedy. At just 15 years old, she witnessed her mother survive a horrific shooting by an abusive partner, and a few years later, her younger brother Michael was tragically killed in a school shooting. Rather than break her spirit, these traumas fueled her gift for humor. Her ability to bring light into dark spaces became her trademark. By the time she appeared on the Bernie Mac Show, she was already developing the charismatic scene-stealing presence that would define her career. During the early 2000s, Nash mastered the balance between comedy and resilience. Alongside her appearances on Bernie Mac's series, she gained national attention as the stylish, high-energy host of Clean House, earning a Daytime Emmy Award in 2010. She also became a fan favorite on Reno 911, where her portrayal of Deputy Rainisha Williams brought a unique blend of sass, physical comedy, and improvisational brilliance. But it was after the sitcom era that Nash truly expanded her range. Her roles in Getting on Claws, Selma, and ultimately the critically acclaimed Dahmer, Monster. The Jeffrey Dahmer story proved she was not just a comedic powerhouse, but a magnetic, dramatic actress capable of commanding any screen. Her performances, layered fierce and emotionally fearless, earned her Emmy nominations and widespread respect across Hollywood. In more recent years, Niecy Nash has become a symbol of authenticity, reinvention, and self-defined happiness. Her 2020 marriage to musician Jessica Betts made headlines worldwide, not as a coming-out moment, she emphasized, but simply as her choosing joy. With that openness, she became an advocate for self-acceptance, LGBTQ+ visibility, and emotional healing. Continuing to thrive in television and film, she remains one of Hollywood's most dynamic artists, never afraid to merge humor with honesty. For audiences revisiting The Bernie Mac Show, Niecy Nash represents the evolution of a performer who turned pain into power laughter into legacy, and a supporting sitcom role into the foundation for an extraordinary career still unfolding between 2001 and 2025. Anthony Anderson. Anthony Anderson stepped into the Bernie Mac show as Brian, one of Bernie's quick-witted, straight-shooting friends whose sharp humor added rhythm and energy to every scene he appeared in. Born August 15, 1970, in Compton, California, Anderson grew up in a working-class household shaped by laughter struggle and a mother who pushed him toward the arts despite financial hardship. Before joining Bernie Mac's series in 2002, he had already built a strong resume with roles in films like Barbershop and Me, Myself, and Irene. But the camaraderie he shared with Bernie on screen connected him to audiences in a more personal way. His appearances were brief but memorable, full of the timing, charisma, and understated vulnerability that would become hallmarks of his later success. Even in a supporting role, Anderson's presence hinted at a star preparing to emerge. After his stint on The Bernie Mac Show, Anderson's career surged forward with remarkable momentum. He became one of television's most recognizable comedic actors, starring in dozens of films and securing major television roles including Law & Order and Guys with Kids. But his defining breakthrough came with Blackish 2014-2022, where he played Andre Dre Johnson Sr., a role that earned him 11 Emmy nominations and solidified his place as a leading figure in modern American sitcom history. Behind the scenes, Anderson faced personal challenges, including publicly sharing his diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, a battle he transformed into advocacy through charitable work and health awareness campaigns. His long marriage to Alvina Stewart ended in divorce, and though the split was difficult, Anderson leaned on his work, his children, and his comedy to navigate the transition with humility and focus. In the years leading up to 2025, Anthony Anderson has remained active, visible, and deeply committed to his craft. He continued hosting, producing, and appearing in new projects, including game shows and reality series that showcased his natural charm and quick humor. His estimated net worth, built through decades of consistent work, reflects not overnight success, but steady dedication to storytelling. For many fans revisiting The Bernie Mac Show, Anderson's evolution stands as one of the most striking then and now journeys in the cast, from a witty supporting player in Bernie's world to a celebrated star whose voice style and comedic honesty have left a lasting mark on American television. Michael Ralph. Michael Ralph brought a gentle, down-to-earth charm to The Bernie Mac Show through his role as Kelly Jordan's loyal, soft-spoken friend who often appeared at just the right moments to add humor, honesty, or a simple childhood sweetness to the storyline. Born on September 12, 1963, in Waterbury, Connecticut, Ralph had already spent years building a steady acting career before joining the series. His earlier work included appearances in high-profile films like Marked for Death 1990 and Spike Lee's Malcolm X 1992, as well as recurring television roles that allowed him to refine his craft. On Bernie Mac's show, his subtle delivery and heartfelt presence made Kelly memorable not because the character was loud or flashy, but because he felt real. For viewers, he embodied the consistency and innocence of childhood friendship during a time when Jordan was trying to find his place in a new household. After The Bernie Mac Show ended in 2006, Michael Ralph continued to build a wide-ranging career across television, film, and voice acting. He appeared in series such as Moesha Martin and The Parkers, and contributed voice roles to major animated films including Happy Feet 2, 2011, and Frozen 2, 2019. As Hollywood shifted and certain types of roles became harder to secure, Ralph transitioned smoothly into teaching, coaching, and mentoring young actors, a path that allowed him to blend decades of industry experience with a passion for helping new talent develop their skills. Though he has never been one to seek headlines or public attention, those who have worked with him often describe him as thoughtful, patient, and deeply dedicated to the craft of performance. In more recent years, Michael Ralph has continued to act selectively while focusing much of his time on coaching and occasional speaking engagements about the representation of Black voices in American cinema. His life today reflects a quiet success, one built not on fame, but on longevity, integrity, and a true love for storytelling. Fans revisiting The Bernie Mac Show from 2001 to 2025 often rediscover Kelly as one of the series' comforting presences, a reminder of the show's warmth and heart. And for those who follow Ralph's career beyond the sitcom, his journey stands as proof that impact in Hollywood is not always measured by size of role, but by sincerity of performance and devotion to the art. Ashley Monique Clark. Ashley Monique Clark was part of a generation of child actors who grew up right in front of America's eyes. Long before she ever appeared on The Bernie Mac Show, she had already made her mark as Sydney Hewley on The Hewleys from the late 1990s into the early 2000s, playing the bright, lovable daughter in a family that felt familiar to many viewers. By the time she stepped into the world of Bernie Mac as Terry, a friend of Vanessa, she was no stranger to sitcom sets, cameras, and live audience laughter. Though her role on The Bernie Mac Show was recurring rather than central, she fit naturally into the rhythm of the series, slipping into the dynamic of teenage friendships, school hallways, and the everyday drama that surrounded Uncle Bernie's new family life. As the years went by, Ashley navigated the difficult transition that many young performers face when childhood stardom begins to quiet. She continued to work in television with guest appearances on popular series and small parts that allowed her to grow as an actress beyond the cute kid image audiences remembered. At the same time, the industry around her was changing. New platforms, new faces, and a faster news cycle meant that staying in the spotlight required a different kind of visibility. Rather than chasing constant fame, Ashley began focusing on broadening her creative skills with an interest not only in acting, but also in writing and developing her own projects. That shift from simply being cast to having a say in what gets made marked an important then and now moment in her journey. Between 2001 and 2025, Ashley Monique Clark's story reflects a quieter, more introspective path than some of her fellow cast members, but it is no less meaningful. While she may not appear on magazine covers or headline blockbuster films, she remains a working artist who has chosen longevity and self-direction over short-lived hype. For fans revisiting The Bernie Mac Show, her character Terry is a reminder of the way the series captured real teenage life friends, drifting in and out of scenes, shaping Vanessa's world in subtle but memorable ways. And for those who follow her beyond the sitcom, Ashley stands as an example of how a child star can grow into adulthood with perspective, purpose, and a steady commitment to her craft. Danielle Nicolet. Danielle Nicolet brought intelligence, quick humor, and a grounded energy to The Bernie Mac Show through her appearances as Carlene, the bright and capable social worker who often found herself caught between Bernie's bluster and the realities of caring for 3 children suddenly placed in his home. Born November 24, 1973 in Ashtabula, Ohio, Danielle entered the industry with a mix of determination and natural charm, building early credits on sitcoms, teen dramas, and voiceover work. By the time she stepped onto Bernie Mac's set, she had already gained attention for her roles in Third Rock from the Sun and Family Tools, but her performance on Bernie's show showcased her ability to play smart, composed characters who could match comedic timing with emotional nuance. Even in brief appearances, she left a strong impression, demonstrating the professionalism and versatility that would later define her career. In the years following her time on The Bernie Mac Show, Danielle Nicolet steadily expanded her resume across television and film, becoming one of those quietly powerful performers whose face audiences instantly recognize. She landed major roles in series such as The Game, Born Again Virgin's Second Time Around, and multiple seasons of The Flash, where she played the fan-favorite character Cecile Horton. Her work spanned comedy, drama, action, and animation, giving her one of the most diverse portfolios of any recurring cast member from Bernie Mac's series. Off-screen, she continued to contribute her voice to popular video games and animated productions, building a dual career in live action and voice acting that highlighted her adaptability in a rapidly evolving entertainment landscape. By the time audiences look back from 2025, Danielle Nicolet stands out as one of the most consistently working actresses among the wider ensemble connected to the Bernie Mac show. She has maintained a steady presence in Hollywood without the scandals, controversies, or dramatic career breaks that often mark long entertainment careers. Instead, she built her reputation on reliability, talent, and a powerful on-screen warmth that resonates across genres. For fans revisiting the show, her appearances as Carlene offer a glimpse of the poised performer. She would become a woman capable of elevating every scene she entered. And for those following her beyond the sitcom, Danielle's journey represents the kind of Hollywood success story built not on sudden fame, but on endurance, versatility, and a genuine love for the craft. Michael Collier. Michael Collier began his path in entertainment far from the sitcom lights, yet his comedic voice and perseverance eventually led him into the orbit of the Bernie Mac show. Born February 9, 1957 in Chicago, he grew up in the Robert Taylor Homes projects and later the Morgan Park area, and developed a voice shaped by both hardship and humor. He honed his craft on the Venice Beach boardwalk, reportedly performing multiple stand-up sets a day for years before gaining national notice. His big break came in 1990 when he won the Grand Prize Comedy Championship on the show Star Search, and true to form, he donated half of his winnings to homeless charities, an early sign of his commitment to giving back. By the time he guest starred on the Bernie Mac show 2006 in the episode Spinning Wheels as a character, credited simply as Man Collier, was already a seasoned veteran of film, TV, and stand-up comedy. After his appearance on the show, Collier's career continued, branching into multiple directions: performance voice work, authorship, motivational speaking, and more. He has appeared in numerous films such as House Party 3, Poetic Justice, Norbit, and lent his voice to Disney's The Princess and the Frog. He remains active on the comedy circuit tours, his one-man show, Michael Collier's Mama, and engages audiences with stories of survival, laughter, and social commentary. Off-camera, his philanthropic efforts, such as the early charity donation and later speaking engagements, have built a layer of purpose behind the punchlines. He describes his craft as conscious comedy, addressing topics such as race, family, and redemption alongside simple laughs. Looking at his journey from 2001 through 2025, Michael Collier embodies one of the richer then and now stories in the wider orbit of the Bernie Mac cast, from boardwalk comic to Hollywood actor to stand-up storyteller and community advocate. While his role on the Bernie Mac show was small, his presence in the industry remains significant. For audiences who revisit the series today, his cameo is a reminder that every performer in the ensemble brought their unique history and voice into the show's household dynamic. And for those following his broader work, his path stands as proof that sustained relevance in entertainment often comes not through overnight stardom, but through longevity, reinvention, and the decision to use humor for something more than just laughs. Carlos Mencia. Carlos Mencia was born Ned Arnel Holness on October 22, 1967, in San Pedro Sula, Honduras, the 17th of 18 children to a Mexican mother and Honduran father. He was raised in East Los Angeles by his aunt and uncle after his parents struggled to keep him out of gang culture. By his late teens, he had performed stand-up at venues like the Laugh Factory and the Comedy Store, eventually dropping his engineering studies at California State University, Los Angeles, to pursue comedy full-time. Around the early 2000s, he made television appearances, and among his list of credits is a guest role on The Bernie Mac Show. He appears as Chewy in one early episode. Though this was a small part, it placed him in the orbit of one of the major sitcom hits of that era, showing that he was already moving within the same professional circles as Bernie Mac and his cast. Following that era, Carlos Mencia's career ascended rapidly from his own stand-up specials to his sketch comedy series Mind of Mencia, 2005-2008 on Comedy Central, where he blended broad humor about Latin American culture, race, family, and class. His show became the network's second highest-rated program behind South Park during some seasons. Over those years, he released comedy albums and DVDs, such as Carlos Mencia New Territory 2011. His work also expanded into film roles and voice acting for animated series, and he even branched into business co-founding a restaurant chain and lending his name to various entertainment ventures. That growth illustrated a transformation from supporting actor to household name in the world of stand-up and sketch comedy. Between the release of The Bernie Mac Show and 2025, Carlos Mencia has had a career marked by both success and controversy. He remains active in stand-up touring, releasing new material and speaking to Latino communities about his journey. While his guest appearance on The Bernie Mac Show may now feel minor in comparison to his larger body of work, it remains part of his then chapter, a reminder of his early years in scripted television. His now chapter finds him as a veteran comedian frequently referenced in conversations about identity culture and comedy's evolution. For fans revisiting the early 2000s sitcom era, Mencia's appearance links the world of Uncle Bernie's sitcom home to the broader landscape of stand-up and sketch entertainment that followed. Chris Rock. Chris Rock has long stood as one of the most influential voices of his generation, a comedian whose sharp observations, fearlessness, and unfiltered honesty reshaped the landscape of American stand-up comedy. Born February 7, 1965, in Andrews, South Carolina, and raised in Brooklyn, Rock honed his comedic voice in the clubs of New York before being discovered by Eddie Murphy. His rise through Saturday Night Live in the early 1990s introduced him to national audiences, and by the time The Bernie Mac Show was airing its first season, Chris Rock was already considered one of the leading comedic minds in America. Though he never appeared on Bernie Mac's sitcom, the two shared a parallel impact: black comedians who brought real-life truths to mainstream screens with wit, edge, and undeniable charisma. Fans of one naturally gravitated to the other, recognizing a similar blend of social commentary and humor born from lived experience. Through the 2000s, Chris Rock's career exploded into multiple arenas, acclaimed HBO comedy specials like Bring the Pain, Bigger and Blacker, and Never Scared each, pushing the boundaries of political and cultural commentary. He stepped behind the camera to create Everybody Hates Chris, a semi-autobiographical sitcom that earned critical praise for its honesty and heart. In film, he moved between comedy, drama, animation, and documentary, voicing Marty the Zebra in the Madagascar franchise, directing Head of State, and earning praise for his serious turns in projects like Top 5 and Fargo. Throughout it all, he remained one of the most respected stand-up performers alive, known for tackling race relationships, politics, and identity with unwavering sharpness. From 2001 to 2025, Chris Rock's journey reflects a constant evolution, one marked by reinvention, vulnerability, and personal truth. In the 2020s, he returned to stand-up with new material shaped by life's complexities, including public challenges, personal growth, and a renewed creative fire. His later specials continued to draw global attention, proving that his voice still resonates as powerfully as it did decades earlier. For fans revisiting The Bernie Mac Show, Chris Rock represents a parallel legacy, another titan of early 2000s comedy whose work shaped the era and whose influence continues to echo today. Though their paths rarely crossed on screen, their contributions remain deeply intertwined in the story of modern American humor. As we look back at the journeys of these remarkable talents, one truth becomes clear: the legacy of The Bernie Mac Show reaches far beyond the screen, carried by the resilience, humor, and humanity of the people who brought it to life. Their stories still inspire, still challenge, and still spark conversations that matter. But what about you? Which cast member's path do you think shaped the show's legacy the most, and why? Share your thoughts below. Because at Legends of Black Excellence, every voice adds power to the story.